The dark web is a place most people only whisper about, a hidden layer of the internet where the rules don't apply, and where some things are better left unseen. Tonight, we're diving into 5 true first-hand accounts from people who claim they stumbled across things they were never meant to find. These aren't ghost stories or urban legends. These are the kind of digital horrors that could happen to anyone, even you. So dim the lights, put on your headphones, and whatever you do, don't click on strange links. These are 5 disturbing stories from the dark web. Story 1. The stream that shouldn't exist.
I've always been into weird internet rabbit holes, ARGs, conspiracy forums, creepy subreddits, you name it. But what really fascinated me was the dark web, not the drug markets or scammy crypto stuff. No, I was obsessed with the hidden corners, the abandoned forums, the encrypted message boards nobody talked about, the places where it felt like something was watching back. A few months ago, I came across a thread on an old, nearly dead Onion forum. The post was titled "Unlisted Streams, only for those who know where to look." Most of the links were long dead, but one still worked. Just a string of gibberish ending in .onion/live. I knew better than to click on random links without protection, so I booted up a fresh Tails OS, used Tor, sandboxed everything. I was careful. The site loaded, just a black screen at first, then static, then the feed came in. It was a low-res live stream, grainy and slightly tilted, like the camera was propped up on a shelf. The room it showed was small, dimly lit by a flickering ceiling light. The furniture was minimal. A desk, a chair, a laptop, bare walls, cheap blinds, and the weirdest part, it looked familiar. I leaned in, squinting. The camera was aimed directly at the corner of a room, my room. Or at least it looked exactly like it. Same gray walls, same black desk, even the same little tear in the corner of the curtain I'd been meaning to fix. I paused the stream, told myself it was just a coincidence. Maybe a model room, maybe staged. People recreate things all the time. But then I noticed something else. The time on the laptop screen in the feed matched mine. Exactly. I stared, trying to rationalize it, but then the camera moved. It was subtle, like someone had nudged it. The frame shifted slightly, and now the corner of my bed was visible. My unmade bed with the same crumpled blanket I had right then behind me. I spun around, heart racing, empty. I turned back to the stream. The angle had changed again. Now it showed my desk chair, my laptop, my back. There was no sound, just a low static hum, but I swear I could feel someone breathing behind me. I shut the laptop, unplugged it, disconnected everything. Sat in silence for a few minutes, listening for any movement. Eventually, I convinced myself I must have been imagining it. I mean, maybe it was an old stream. Maybe someone had copied the layout of my room. I didn't know, but I couldn't let it go. I stayed awake the whole night. When morning came, I went to class, tried to act normal, but I was different after that. Paranoid, jumping at noises, checking every corner of my room. I even covered the vents and taped up the webcam, just in case. A few days later, I made the mistake of checking the stream again. It was still live, still showing my room, but this time, I wasn't in it. Instead, someone else was. A figure, mostly in shadow, sitting in my chair, wearing my clothes. Same hoodie, same jeans, even the little bleach stain on the sleeve. He was hunched over the laptop, typing. I could barely breathe. I ran to my room and flung open the door, empty. My laptop was shut. The chair was tucked under the desk. Nothing looked touched. But when I turned the laptop back on, there was a new text file on the desktop. Just one word: watching. I haven't opened that stream again. I don't talk about this with anyone in real life. People would think I'm crazy. But sometimes, when I'm trying to sleep, I get this awful feeling that I'm being observed, like my every move is being recorded for someone else's entertainment. And in the back of my mind, I keep wondering, if that stream is still live, who's watching it now?
Story 2. Red Room Invite.
I've worked in cybersecurity for almost a decade. Most of the time, it's boring. Patching vulnerabilities, scanning for phishing attempts, reviewing access logs, but every so often, something slips through the cracks that shakes you to your core. This started about a year ago, during a quiet week on the job. I was running traffic analysis scripts on a series of compromised IPs linked to darknet forums when I noticed something strange. An encrypted packet that bypassed every flag in our system. That shouldn't have been possible. The file was small, just a message with no subject and one line of text: "You've been chosen." Attached was a link, nothing I recognized, but clearly a .onion address. I isolated it, ran it in a virtual machine. I didn't plan on clicking it, just wanted to trace the path. But my curiosity got the better of me. When I opened it, the site loaded a stream. No login, no menu. Just a black screen with a timer ticking down and a chat box next to it. Underneath, in red text, next broadcast 000947. I watched, waiting for the clock to hit 0. The screen blinked, and then the stream began. The camera showed a dim room with stained walls and a concrete floor. A person was tied to a chair, their face obscured. No sounds, no visible captors, just the image. And then something stopped me cold. The victim's clothes. They looked familiar. A blue hoodie with a faded band logo, one my sister used to wear in high school. I hadn't seen her in weeks, but we texted often. She was in her final year at university. I tried to dismiss it. I told myself it was just someone else with the same clothes, a sick coincidence. But then the camera slowly zoomed in. The necklace, a tiny silver key, something our dad gave her when she turned 16. She never took it off. I felt my blood go cold. I scrambled to call her. No answer. Texted. Nothing. I opened every tool I had, ran packet tracers, location scrapes, metadata filters, but the stream was locked down tighter than anything I'd ever seen. No digital fingerprints, no backend to breach, like it was designed to be untraceable. And the chat started lighting up with usernames I didn't recognize, sending messages like, "Do it slow," "She's awake now," and "He's watching." That last one, "He's watching," felt like it was directed at me. I backed out, disconnected the VM. I sat there in silence, heart racing, hands shaking. Then my work laptop dinged. New email, no sender, no subject, just a line of text. Too slow. I drove straight to my sister's flat, pounding on the door until the neighbor came out. Nobody had seen her in days. The police didn't take me seriously. She was an adult. She'd probably just gone away for a while. But I knew. I knew what I saw. A few weeks later, I got another email. No message, just an image attachment. It was a still frame from the stream, the concrete room, the chair, empty, but carved into the wall behind it was her name. And every so often, I get another link, another countdown, another faceless stream, different victim, different horror. But the chat box always says the same thing when I join. Welcome back.
Story 3. The job posting.
I'd just been laid off. Rent was due, bills were stacking up, and I was one more missed payment away from losing everything. That's when I started looking deeper online. Not something I'm proud of, but desperation makes you ignore red flags. I found the listing through a buried forum thread, a job offer posted on a hidden service site. The message was vague, seeking discreet individuals for off-grid surveillance work. No interaction required. High pay, weekly deposits. It sounded shady, but the paycheck, $4,000 a week. Cash, no ID needed, just a burner laptop, a few hours of passive observation, and a secure upload every night. I replied using an alias, got a response an hour later. My first assignment was simple: monitor a live camera feed of a small apartment hallway. I was given remote access, and my job was just to log foot traffic, timestamps, duration, anything unusual. The hallway was boring. Empty most of the time. Occasionally, a man in a hoodie would walk past, always looking down, never glancing at the camera. After a few days, I received another feed, this time inside a living room. I hesitated, but the money hit my crypto wallet right on schedule, so I kept going. Each new feed was creepier. Bedrooms, basements, a nursery once. Always the same instructions: observe, log, upload. One night, I was watching a woman cooking in her kitchen. She had no idea the camera was there. That's when it hit me. These people weren't actors. These weren't setups. They were real. I wanted to stop, but the next morning, I got an email. Assignment complete, bonus awarded. Attached was a file. Footage from a completely different angle. Same kitchen, same woman, but this time she wasn't cooking. She was tied to a chair, crying. A man stood behind her, holding something I couldn't make out. The clip ended abruptly. I deleted it instantly. That night, I got a new feed. The scene looked like a normal bedroom. The timestamp said the feed was live. I clicked play, and there I was, sleeping in my own bed. I froze. There was no visible camera in my room. I hadn't shared my address with anyone, but somehow they knew. They'd been watching me the whole time. I unplugged everything, tore my room apart looking for hidden lenses, bugs, anything. I couldn't find a single thing. And then I checked my laptop. There was a folder I hadn't seen before. Uploads. Inside were dozens of video files, clips of me, sleeping, showering, sitting at my desk, from angles I couldn't explain. I reformatted the drive, destroyed the laptop, ditched everything digital I owned. I even moved apartments, but to this day, I still get texts from random numbers, no words, just links to video files. And every time I open one, it's the same thing. Me. Doing something I don't remember.
Story 4. The folder named you.
I'm a freelance penetration tester. Basically, companies pay me to break into their systems so they can fix vulnerabilities before someone with bad intentions finds them. Most of the time, it's just boring code audits or phony phishing attempts. But every once in a while, someone hires me off the record, under the table. That's where this all started. The client reached out through a private encrypted channel. They offered $5,000 for one task: access a dark web server and download a specific file structure. No questions asked. The server was buried deep, accessed through a layered set of tunnels, cloaked IPs, multiple passkeys. Whoever built it knew what they were doing. Once I finally got in, I saw something weird. There were dozens of folders, each labeled with what looked like usernames or aliases. The Teacher, Silent Passenger, JHunt94, and then, right at the bottom, one named You. I paused. At first, I thought it was some kind of trap, a test, a prank. But curiosity got the better of me, and I opened it. What I found made my stomach turn. Inside were thousands of files. Some were images, me in my apartment, in my car, sleeping, brushing my teeth. Photos from angles I couldn't explain. Different times of day, different clothes. Over years, they were all time-stamped. Some from days ago, others from years ago. There were audio clips too, conversations I'd had in private, calls I'd made, even whispering, me whispering in my sleep. Then came the videos. One showed me walking down my hallway. Another had me sitting at my computer, typing this exact sentence. And then one that made my blood run cold. It was me, sitting on my bed, talking out loud to a friend on the phone. But in the video, there was something in the background. Someone, just barely visible in the crack of my closet door, watching. I hit pause, backed the footage up. There it was again, a pale face, a shape, frozen in place, staring at me. The timestamp was from 3 nights ago. I don't even have a working closet light. There's no way I wouldn't have noticed. I opened my closet, empty, but the air inside was cold, wrong, like someone had just been there. I tried deleting the folder, the files, everything. No luck. They wouldn't move. I disconnected the drive, pulled the battery, ripped the network cables out of the wall. But when I turned the laptop back on, fresh boot, clean drive, that same folder appeared on the desktop. You. No matter what I did, it kept coming back, like it belonged there, like it belonged to me. And then one day, something changed. The folder icon blinked. I opened it again. This time, there was only one file. Look behind you, .mp4. I didn't play it. I couldn't. Instead, I slammed the lid shut and walked out. I haven't been back since. I threw out the laptop, switched phones, moved to another city, changed my name. But every now and then, I still get that same folder, showing up on my desktop, empty, waiting, like it's still watching. And one day, it'll show me something I can't ignore.
Story 5. The Countdown Forum.
I'm a freelance journalist. Most of my stories dig into fringe internet subcultures, conspiracy communities, hacker forums, digital black markets. I've always had a knack for finding the things no one's supposed to see. That's what led me to a thread buried deep in a forgotten darknet archive. It was called the Disappearance Index. At first, I thought it was some sort of roleplay forum. The layout was basic. Black background, red text, no images. Every post was a username, a location, and a countdown timer. Some were hours, others days. A few had already expired. Those threads were locked, with the word processed stamped next to them. It creeped me out, but I figured it was just another ARG, a twisted game, until I saw my handle listed. A Jane, reports, UK, Zozuro 46.13. I hadn't posted there, I hadn't registered, but there it was, my online identity, location, and a clock, ticking down. I refreshed the page. The timer dropped. Same name, same location. I laughed nervously and shut the browser, but I couldn't shake the chill running down my spine. I triple-checked all my accounts, ran malware scans, checked my devices for bugs. Nothing. Everything looked normal. But the feeling stayed with me, that sense that I wasn't alone in my own flat. Later that night, I gave in and reopened the site. The countdown was at 002912. This time, there were replies under my thread. Almost ready. Windows unlocked. We're already inside. My blood ran cold. I jumped up and checked every lock, every window, every creak in the floorboards. I even opened the wardrobe and looked under the bed. Nothing. But the paranoia wouldn't let go. I started recording everything on my phone, thinking maybe I'd catch something. I texted a few friends. No one believed me. I set a timer for when the countdown would hit 0, just in case, just to prove it was fake. At midnight, I stood in my hallway, staring at the front door as the timer on my phone reached 0. Nothing happened. No knock, no sound, just silence. I laughed, out loud, nervous, relieved, embarrassed. I turned off the timer and headed back to bed, but that's when I saw it. My laptop screen had turned on, by itself, and the forum was still open. There was a new reply. We changed our minds. Check again in 72 hours. And under that, a new post, a new username, my sister's, and her timer had already started.
The internet connects us all, but sometimes it connects us to the wrong things. Maybe you've stumbled onto something strange online before, a post that vanished too quickly, a file that shouldn't exist, or a link that led somewhere it never should have. If so, you're not alone, because while you're watching the screen, someone might be watching you. Be careful out there, and if you've ever had a dark web encounter of your own, tell us. We're listening.